The National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, says it will investigate all genuine cases of sharp practices at internally displaced persons IDP camps in the country. The organization insists that those who shortchange IDPs and the distribution of food and medical items must not go unpunished. Joining us via Skype from the nation's capital, Abuja, to discuss this issue is Executive Director, Emergency and Risk Alert Initiative, Olajuyigbe Gbenro. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Now, first of all, what do you make of allegations stemming from internally displaced persons camps? Isn't it worrying?
Yeah, when you think reflect on what drove the people out of their habitual place, they were driven out by well-founded fear of violence, and it's unthinkable that when they thought they've got into a place of refuge, to begin to witness another barrels of violence in form of deprivation, in terms of abuse of rights, and of course in terms of making them more vulnerable than they were before they were uprooted by the insurgents in the northeastern part of the country. But let me quickly state that whenever we want to measure the success of this world and the nature of abuse of rights that is taking place, we should reflect on three cardinal things that actually happen to these people, the internally displaced person. One is that the questions are that have we actually addressed the issue of the or reduced their fear, the fear that drove them out of their habitual residence? Secondly, are we meeting their needs? And thirdly, are they capacitated to a level where they can act on their own behalf? If the answers are not in the affirmative, abuse of rights becomes inevitable. We are talking of people that have been stripped of their, that violence have pushed out of their communities, and it becomes the responsibility of government to ensure protection for them until they are able to return back to that habitual residence where they departed from. But we found out that
all right, then perhaps then I take it that this investigation by the NHRC, you are taking it as a welcome development. But then how do we ensure that this translates to the protection of the rights of this vulnerable that you have just spoken about?
Yeah, let me just state that investigation at this time means virtually nothing to me. What Human Rights Commission should have done ab initio was to have deployed, even when immediately there was displacement. The expectation would have been that a commission like Human Rights Commission will be there to ensure that their rights are not further abused. In that way, that means that they ought to have deployed monitors, human rights monitors to those areas. But then, the rights have been abused. But I want to assure you, we are talking of people, like I said, they are not able to act on their own behalf. They will still be cowed, not to even corroborate the abuse of the rights they are suffering.
So are you saying this is an exercise in futility?
It's not an exercise in futility, but what I can assure you is that they are going to end up by saying that rights have been abused. But where are the abusers? That will be the next question that I want to know. This could have been prevented or reduced if this intervention had come earlier than this. I've worked in the northeastern part of the country, and I'm still working in that area. I already know what has been going on. We have made several reports that this type of abuse is taking place, especially the issue of sexual violence that is ongoing there between those who have responsibility to offer protection and those who have responsibility to ensure that law of engagement are kept at the camp. The managers of camp abuse rights, the security agents that are expected to offer protection, physical protections, abuse rights, and every other thing. But you can situate all these abuse within the context of power and control. If you do the power analysis, we are talking of people who cannot feed themselves, people cannot house themselves, people who are the masses of those who are providing for them, or responders who are responding to their needs. So they are at lower level, they are shortchanged on the scale of power, and of course that has been used as a measure of control to further the abuse that is being perpetrated in the northeastern part of the country.
All right, we can only hope that the perpetrators of these sharp practices are uncovered. Executive Director, Emergency and Risk Alert Initiative, Olajuyigbe Gbenro, thank you for your time on the news.
It's a pleasure, but let me quickly add that hope is a good breakfast, but a very bad supper.
We can only hope yet. Thank you for your time.